Some moments in Heartland feel less like television and more like life itself. Ty Borden's return is one of those moments, powerful, unexpected, and deeply emotional. It's the kind of scene that makes you pause, because you know you're not just watching a story, you're witnessing the heart of the series beating again. When the episode begins, there is a quiet sense of tension that lingers in the air. The ranch feels alive, yet incomplete. Amy carries herself with strength, but her silence tells us everything. She has built walls of resilience, yet there is still an emptiness only one person can fill. And then, just like the changing of a season, Ty appears. His presence doesn't need grand words or dramatic music. The weight of his return speaks for itself. It's not simply about a character walking back into the frame. It's about a chapter that fans thought had been sealed suddenly opening again. The first moments of Ty's return are layered with emotion. Amy's eyes catch sight of him, and there is a pause, the kind of pause where time seems to stretch longer than reality allows. It's a mix of shock, relief, and an ache for everything that has been lost in the past seasons. The silence between them says more than dialogue ever could. For longtime viewers, this silence is not empty, it's filled with years of love, heartbreak, and the echo of what once was. Ty's presence brings back memories of his bond with Amy, his role as a father, and his journey from troubled youth to the man who helped build the heart of the ranch. But Ty's return is not just about Amy. Jack, who has always been the rock of the family, feels the moment deeply. His face may be stern, but inside there is a storm of gratitude and disbelief. For Jack, Ty has always been more than a son-in-law, he is a son in spirit. His return is a chance for healing, not only for Amy, but for the man who has carried the weight of everyone's pain on his shoulders. And then there's Lou, whose pragmatic nature often hides her softer emotions. She stands torn between joy and concern. She knows the power of love, but she also knows the reality of wounds, both physical and emotional, that may not heal overnight. What makes this return so powerful is not simply Ty's reappearance, but the ripple it sends through the family. It challenges them to hope again, to believe in second chances, and to trust that love can carry them through even the darkest chapters. Yet, it also raises questions. Will Amy and Ty find their rhythm again? Or will the scars of the past create distance between them? Can the family move forward without reopening old wounds? These questions don't weaken the joy of the moment. They make it richer, more real, and more human. As Ty steps fully into the life he once built, the atmosphere of the ranch changes. Horses seem calmer, the air feels lighter, and the unspoken truth settles over everyone. The heart of Heartland is beating differently now. It's a reminder that life is fragile, but it is also resilient, that even after loss, there can be return. And that sometimes the most powerful moments come not from what is said, but from what is felt. Amy has always been a character who carries her heart quietly. She is not one for long speeches or grand declarations. Instead, she speaks through her actions, her bond with horses, her devotion to her daughter, and her loyalty to her family. So when Ty steps back into her world, it isn't joy that comes rushing to her first, it's hesitation. There's a storm behind her calm eyes, one that the audience can feel but she cannot yet name. For Amy, Ty was more than just a partner, he was her anchor through every storm. His absence left not just an empty space at the dinner table, but a fracture in her identity. She had to become both mother and father to Lyndy, a caretaker of the ranch, and the emotional glue for a family that leaned on her strength. She built herself into someone unshakable because she had no choice, and now, with Ty standing in front of her again, the foundation she built begins to tremble. Her heart wants to run to him, to embrace him, to believe that everything can return to how it once was. But her mind hesitates. Can she trust this moment? Is this truly real? Or is it another cruel twist of fate? Viewers can almost hear her unspoken questions. Where have you been? Why now? And how do we begin again? Jack notices this before anyone else. His wisdom gives him the ability to see what others miss. He knows Amy's silence is not acceptance, it's protection. Jack has lived long enough to understand that sometimes love returns with shadows attached. He watches her carefully, never pushing, but his protective nature reminds us that he will step in if Ty's presence threatens the peace Amy fought so hard to build. Lou, on the other hand, approaches Amy with quiet words of reassurance. She reminds her sister that it's okay to feel everything: hope, fear, anger, and relief all at once. Lou has her own history with complicated relationships, and she knows the danger of pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Her presence is a gentle reminder that Amy doesn't have to carry this storm alone. Tim, however, is more complicated. His reaction to Ty's return is layered with pride, suspicion, and unresolved tension. On the surface, he is glad to see Ty back, but beneath that, there is doubt. Tim has always struggled with guilt over his own failures as a father, and in Ty he sees both redemption and risk. His protectiveness toward Amy comes out in rough edges, making his interactions with Ty feel charged. For the audience, this adds another layer of conflict because even though Ty is welcomed back, it is not unconditional. Then there is Lyndy, whose innocence cuts through the heaviness. For her, Ty is not a symbol of conflict or healing. He is simply Dad. Her joy is pure, unfiltered, and it reminds everyone of what's at stake. Children in Heartland often carry the role of truth tellers, and Lyndy is no different. Her reaction makes it harder for Amy to ignore her emotions. Because if her daughter can open her arms so easily, shouldn't she try to do the same? Amy's struggle is not about rejecting Ty. It's about protecting herself and her family from pain that nearly broke her once before. The ranch has seen many storms, but the hardest ones are not in the sky, they live in the heart. And Amy, though stronger than ever, is still human. Ty's return forces her to confront not only the love she still carries, but also the fear that this second chance could be temporary. The beauty of this section of the episode is its realism. It doesn't present reunion as a fairy tale. Instead, it shows the messy, complicated truth that love can bring both healing and hurt. That sometimes the greatest challenge isn't surviving without someone, but learning how to live with them. Again, after so much time apart, for Amy, this journey is only beginning, and the questions raised in her silence will echo throughout the rest of the season. The return of Ty Borden doesn't just belong to Amy, it belongs to the whole family. At Heartland, nothing happens in isolation. Every choice, every triumph, and every heartbreak ripples through the ranch like the wine that moves across the fields. Ty's reappearance is no different. It shakes old memories loose, reopens buried feelings, and forces each member of the family to confront their own truths. For Jack, the moment is like watching the past catch up to the present. Jack has always been a man of few words, a leader who guides through steady presence rather than speeches. To him, Ty is not just Amy's partner, he is a grandson in spirit, someone he helped shape through quiet lessons and tough love. Jack feels both relief and unease. Relief because Ty's return means Amy doesn't have to carry the weight alone anymore, but unease because he knows life is rarely that simple. He watches Ty carefully, measuring not just what he says, but what he does. Jack's approval is not freely given, it is earned, yet beneath the stern exterior, there's a flicker of gratitude in his eyes, one he doesn't show easily. Lou's reaction takes a different form. As a sister, she is protective of Amy, but as a leader, she worries about the ranch and the family's stability. Lou is always balancing emotion with responsibility. While she's happy to see Ty, her mind races ahead. How will this change Amy's choices? What does this mean for Lyndy's future? Lou has spent years making practical decisions for the family, and Ty's return disrupts the balance she's worked so hard to maintain. She's not cold, her heart is full of love, but her concern comes from a place of realism. To Lou, love is beautiful, but it must also be stable. And she knows too well how fragile stability can be. Tim's response is perhaps the most complicated. On the surface, he greets Ty with a sense of pride, but anyone who knows Tim understands that pride is often a mask. Deep inside, he is wrestling with guilt, regret, and fear. He has seen Amy suffer, and he carries the burden of not being able to protect her fully. Now that Ty is back, Tim struggles to let go of his guard. His instincts as a father make him suspicious, quick to challenge, and slow to trust. For him, Ty's return is not just about Amy's happiness, it is about proving that he won't leave her broken again. Tim's protective nature comes with sharp edges, and those edges clash with Ty's quiet determination to reclaim his place. Then there's Georgie, who represents a bridge between generations. For her, Ty has been both a role model and a symbol of what family means at Heartland. She sees his return as a chance for healing, but she also understands Amy's hesitation. Better than most, having faced her own struggles with belonging, Georgie knows that trust is not automatic, it must be rebuilt piece by piece. Her perspective adds nuance to the family's reaction. She offers hope, but it is grounded in realism, reminding everyone that love is a journey, not a quick fix. And finally, Lyndy, the heart of innocence in this story. Her joy is pure and unshaken by the complexity the adults feel. To her, Ty is dad, and that's enough. Her excitement fills the ranch with light, softening the tension that hangs over the adults. Her simple acceptance reminds everyone of what truly matters: love, connection, and the bonds that endure even after pain. In her laughter and in her trust, the family sees a truth they cannot ignore. The ranch itself becomes a silent character in this chapter. Heartland has always been more than just a backdrop. It reflects the emotions of the people who live there. The barn feels warmer, the fields seem brighter, and the horses move with a sense of calm, as if they to recognize that something vital has returned. Yet there are also storms brewing at the edges, small signs that peace will not come easily. A horse unsettled by Ty's touch, a moment of hesitation in Amy's voice, a glance exchanged between Jack and Tim. These subtle details remind us that healing is a process, not a single moment. What makes this part of the story powerful is its authenticity. Every family member reacts differently, shaped by their own history with Ty, their love for Amy, and their fears for the future. It's not a simple celebration, it's a mosaic of emotions, relief, joy, hesitation, and even doubt. All coexist under one roof. This complexity is what gives Heartland its depth, and what makes Ty's return more than just a plot twist. It's a catalyst for growth, for conflict, and ultimately for a deeper understanding of what it means to be a family. Heartland has always been more than a family drama. It's a story about life itself, the joys, the struggles, the heartbreak, and the healing that happens when people hold on to each other. Ty Borden's return in Season 19, Episode 1 is not just a dramatic event. It's a carefully woven moment that embodies the heart of the series. Beneath the surface of this reunion lie themes of healing, second chances, and the unshakable bond between family and place. At its core, Ty's return represents the power of resilience. For years, Amy has carried the weight of loss, balancing her grief with her responsibilities as a mother, sister, and granddaughter. The ranch has seen her at her strongest and at her most fragile. With Ty's reappearance, the show reminds us that healing is not linear. Amy's progress doesn't disappear simply because Ty is back. Instead, his return complicates her healing journey, forcing her to reconcile the woman she became in his absence with the partner she once was at his side. The theme of resilience shows itself here, not in pretending everything is perfect, but in learning how to bend without breaking when life shifts unexpectedly. The symbolism of the ranch plays a crucial role in this episode. Heartland has always been more than a backdrop. It is a living character in its own right. The fields, the barns, the horses all mirror the emotions of the people who call it home. When Ty steps back onto the land, it feels as though the earth itself acknowledges his presence. The air seems lighter, the horses calmer, the silence less heavy. Yet, at the same time, the land carries scars, just as the family does. Fences need repair, storms still pass through, and not every corner of the ranch is free from struggle. This reflects the truth of Ty's return. It brings light, but it doesn't erase the shadows. That family unity is another theme that shines in this episode. Heartland has always revolved around the idea that family is chosen as much as it is given. Ty himself was not born into the Bartlett-Fleming clan, but he became part of it through loyalty, love, and shared trials. His return reaffirms that once you are part of this family, you remain part of it, even after distance, absence, or pain. Each family member reacts differently. Jack with cautious hope, Lou with pragmatic concern, Tim with protective fire, but together, their responses form a tapestry of love. This unity is messy and perfect, and real, reminding viewers that family strength doesn't mean agreement. It means standing together even when the path is uncertain. The horses, too, symbolize the emotional truth of the story. Amy's gift has always been her ability to connect with animals in ways others cannot. The horses reflect her inner state, and in this episode, their reactions to Ty hint at the emotional storm beneath the surface. Some horses respond calmly to him, as if welcoming back an old friend, while others remain unsettled, mirroring the unease in Amy's heart. These subtle details add layers of meaning, showing that nature itself participates in the family's journey of healing. The theme of second chances is perhaps the most powerful element. Ty's return is not about erasing the past or pretending the pain never happened. It's about acknowledging that life can still offer new chapters, even after heartbreak. For Amy, this means daring to open her heart again. For the family, it means learning to trust again. And for the audience, it delivers a reminder that second chances are rarely perfect. They are fragile, precious, and worth protecting. Symbolically, Ty's return also speaks to the idea that love doesn't vanish with absence. It may change, it may bend, but it endures. Amy's hesitation is not proof of lost love, but of its depth. If she didn't care, there would be no fear. The fact that she struggles so intensely reveals the strength of what they once shared, and the challenge of rediscovering it in a new chapter of life. Ultimately, this episode uses Ty's return as more than just a plot device. It becomes a statement about life itself, that healing is ongoing, that family is both anchor and storm, and that love, no matter how tested, remains the heartbeat of Heartland. Through careful symbolism, emotional storytelling, and deeply human reactions, the show reminds us why it continues to resonate with audiences after so many seasons. Ty's return is not just about what happens in one episode, it's about the themes that define the entire series. Every season premiere of Heartland carries a special weight, but Season 19, Episode 1 feels different. It doesn't just open a new chapter, it redefines the story by blending past wounds with future hopes. This episode is filled with small, carefully crafted moments that together form an unforgettable experience. Each scene feels like a piece of a larger puzzle, reminding the audience why the show has held its place in so many hearts for so many years. One of the most striking highlights comes with the very first appearance of Ty, the way the camera lingers, the pause in the rhythm of the episode, and the stunned silence that follows it all builds a moment that transcends words. Fans have waited for this, not just as a plot development, but as an emotional resolution to years of absence. That scene captures what Heartland is best, showing that the most powerful emotions often need no dialogue. Amy's eyes, filled with hesitation and longing, tell the story better than any script could. Another highlight is the quiet interaction between Jack and Ty. While not dramatic on the surface, it is loaded with meaning. Jack's reserved nod, his measured tone, and the way he studies Ty's every move, it all reveals a man who has carried responsibility for so long, now confronted with the possibility of laying some of it down. Their bond, built over years of trials, is one of the cornerstones of the show. In this moment, we see Jack wrestling with the conflict between his gratitude and his protective instincts. It's subtle, but it adds richness to the story. Lou's conversation with Amy also stands out as one of the episode's most heartfelt moments. She approaches her sister with care, offering comfort, but also realism. Lou is the voice of balance in the family, the one who doesn't shy away from hard truths. Her reminder that Amy doesn't need to have all the answers right away becomes a message not just for Amy, but for the audience as well. It's a gentle nod to the reality that healing and trust take time, and that it's okay to stand still before moving forward. Tim's reaction provides another highlight, though in a very different tone. His protective streak emerges in sharp exchanges that hint at old tensions. Tim has always been a man who struggles with vulnerability, and in this episode, that flaw is on full display. His words may come across as rough, but beneath them lies the raw fear of seeing his daughter hurt again. These interactions add friction, giving the story conflict and grounding the reunion in reality rather than fantasy. Perhaps the most moving highlight, however, belongs to Lyndy. Her simple joy at having her father back cuts through the heaviness of the adult world. While the grown-ups wrestle with hesitation, doubts, and responsibilities, Lyndy's innocence shines like a light. In her eyes, there is no hesitation, only love. Her excitement and unconditional acceptance remind both the family and the viewers of what truly matters. Lyndy's scenes act as emotional anchors, softening the tension and pointing everyone back to the heart of the story: family connection.